Let's talk about this trail side pattern. Now, one of the things that you may have heard about the golf swing or that you've learned over the years is that A, you should be on the balls of your feet. You can or you don't have to, but I'm going to talk about what really happens dynamically, at least in the goat swing. And B, that you shouldn't drive off your trail leg and you shouldn't get pressure to the outside of your foot, which is how you would drive off your trail foot. Well, let's take a look at these two swings here. Now, Tiger on the right, obviously me on the left. Obviously, Tiger's hitting a knockdown here. This was during the President's Cup, obviously. And you'll see in the follow through, he's hitting like a, or really flat ball here. But one thing I want to talk about is how we first of all move off the ball. So in TrackMan, in the software, we can use AI to analyze the swing, and it's actually pretty darn cool. But you can see that the orange dot is what's happening dynamically. So that's the center of our pelvis moving laterally off the ball. You can see Tiger obviously moves off the ball as well. And then the center of our sternum or upper spine there. Now, as we get to the top, you're going to see that our hips both begin to recenter right about here. So if you watch these orange lines and this orange dot right about this time, they're both going to start moving back right about here, just past left arm parallel. They start moving back and get recentered pretty early. So right now, both of us are right back where we started with our lower body, but our upper bodies are both, see both orange circles are behind the ball. So what movement is causing this? That's the real focus of this video. And I want you to focus on, as we start down, watch Tiger's right foot. Now, notice that his toes are actually kind of up in the air. You can actually see a shadow under his shoe. And the reason you're going to be able to distinguish this is if I advance forward real quick, now you can see he smashed that down. Right now he's onto the ball of his foot, and now up onto the right big toe. They're starting to drive off of that. Now, what's happening here is that as you get to the top and you start to recenter, there's perhaps a lot of different ways that you could do it, but what is the most powerful way that you could move your hips, the center of your pelvis, back toward the target? Well, obviously it's going to be to push laterally off of that right foot. Now, a lot of instruction over the years has talked about how this is a bad thing. Not necessarily a bad thing, nor necessarily a good thing. It depends on how you use it and how you're swinging in general. But if you want power, effortless power, your trail glute is the biggest power source that you're going to be able to get in the golf swing. It's one of the biggest power sources, I should say, but certainly in terms of muscular power, the right glute, trail glute for right-handed golfers, that's the moneymaker. And that is what both of us are driving off of here. And that's why he's on the outside of his foot. So you can see his right foot actually roll to the outside slightly, now back to the inside. And this is what really changed Tiger's swing from his car accident for this foot surgery. So if you look at my swing, since I'm wearing shorts, a little bit easier to see, and I'll draw a line on here and explain this, why Tiger's swing looks so different now than what it used to. So notice the angle of my shin bone in relationship to my foot. And obviously the ankle is in between there. And so now you'll see that my shin bone, the angle is going to change. My foot angle hasn't changed nearly as much as my shin bone. Tiger lost this mobility when they fused the talus bone. That's what part of what that joint does, is allows him to, your shin bone to move at an angle in relationship to your foot and your ankle. Once he lost that, his foot could no longer roll like this, and that's why you see it look kind of flat and almost kind of dead, and then he kind of pops up onto the toe later in the release. And so he had to change his golf swing quite a bit in order to work around this fusion. But here, since I'm wearing shorts, and if I clear this, might be a little bit easier to see, if you focus just on my foot, I have that ability to roll that shin bone and that knee, and while the foot stays relatively flat. Tiger, actually, if you look at his right foot's going in the opposite direction. That's how hard he's driving off of that right glute. That is what he lost during that fusion surgery. So now, long story short, as we come back into the ball, you're going to see that we've moved forward significantly from where we started. And again, the most efficient way to do this is to drive off of that trail foot. If you're driving off of that trail foot, if you start to do it too early off the inside of your foot, which happens a lot for a lot of golfers, you'll get into internal rotation of your trail leg too soon. It'll cause your upper body to rotate too much, and then you'll start to open up and you'll lose power on the way down. But if you want to understand how all of this stuff works, go to RotarySwing.com and check out the GOAT code. This is what I am teaching, is helping you understand how to move like the goat. And this is one of those things where if you want to feel power in your swing, obviously driving off of that trail leg is one of the most efficient sources that you'll find.